The heroic Italian plumber is coming to the Game Boy. Nothing could go wrong here, right? Right? What is up, everybody? Welcome to another review. Today, I want to talk about the Nintendo Game Boy a little bit. How freaking sweet was the Nintendo Game Boy? Yeah, the games were only in green and black, but there were still a lot of really good ones, and it was like a Nintendo that you could put in your pocket and take on the go. Obviously, depending on the size of your pockets, but you get the idea. Back then, portable gaming hadn't really been a thing yet, and so the idea of playing high-quality video games on the go was brand new, and obviously, who better to innovate than Nintendo? And what's a Nintendo console launch without a Mario title, right? Well, a GameCube actually, but that's like the only one. The Game Boy obviously needed a Mario title to throw out there from the start, and gamers obviously wanted one after Super Mario Bros. 1 and 2 had sold millions upon millions of copies for the NES. Whether or not that title they put out was going to be as good as the first two Mario Bros. Games, well, that's kind of what we're breaking down today while we're reviewing Super Mario Land. For what it's worth, the stories in these earlier Mario games weren't entirely consistent yet, with the whole Bowser kidnapped Princess Toadstool and Mario needs to save her routine. So to label this one as weird and outlandish isn't entirely fair, even if it very much feels that way nowadays. So the quick version of the story goes like this. An evil alien named Tatanga has taken over the peaceful world of Sarasaland and hypnotized the people to do his bidding. Now he plans to marry the Princess Daisy and make her his queen, and it's up to Mario to defeat Tatanga and restore peace to Sarasaland. I'm trying to figure out why Tatanga would hypnotize everyone in the kingdom to do his bidding, but wouldn't do that to Daisy right away just to knock out that whole hostile takeover thing right from the start. I guess because bad guys making effective decisions wouldn't make for a very good or a very long video game. But then again, the way they did things in this game still ended up not very good and not very long. This section might be more appropriately titled, What Kills the Fun? If you go in expecting a well-constructed, lengthy platforming adventure with a couple cool power-ups and cool secrets to find, you know, like you do with most any Mario game, this one will mostly disappoint you. It tries to replicate a lot of those aspects that made Super Mario Bros. Great, and it replicates a lot of that really poorly. With this being a Mario title, again, that name generally comes with some expectations, at least for anything outside of a learning game. Here, it's like they threw all theatrics and excitement of completing a stage or a world out the window. You just get a boring jingle for the most part, or a weak repackaging of the "our princess is in another castle" routine. And the things they tried to replicate about Super Mario Bros., such as the boss battles involving getting to the other side of the bridge, the aforementioned princess in another castle thing, and even the fire flower, they just missed on it all. The submarine and flying levels are okay in the sense that they offer a change of pace, but the gimmick is just so meh. There are also a lot of instances where they took a part of a level and just cut and paste the same exact thing later into the level, just for the sake of making it longer, without adding anything new or fun to it. Gameplay, controls, level design, they are all fun killers for this game. In trying to find what sets Super Mario Land apart from other games, it was the first portable Mario title, so there's some historical significance there, I guess. And when stacked next to other Mario games, there's a lot that makes this one different, just not really in good ways. The way it plays is not very similar to other Mario games. The size of the world and the objects within it are off from everything we were used to at the time. And the physics. Holy crap, the physics. If you jump, you'll gracefully float down at a medium pace. It feels alright, it feels natural. However, if you walk off a ledge, you will fall at an insanely fast speed, basically throwing out any consistency in the gravity in this game. Aside from the awkward feel of things, this new world you play in isn't all that fun. There are a couple familiar enemies, but the size of everything again feels really off, and the weird physics kill whatever familiarity might be left. They have some other weird things like extra lives being in the form of hearts, invincibility stars falling through the ground rather than bouncing, the previously mentioned plane and submarine levels, and the damsel in distress being Princess Daisy, whoever the hell she is. Maybe my least favorite change, though, is the new Fire Flower power-up. I know that they had already once stripped Mario of his iconic fireballs in Super Mario Bros. 2, but they didn't go replacing the Fire Flower power-up with some other power in its place. Here we have some weird cannonball thing that will only hit enemies at ground level if they're right in front of Mario. It's rare that you'll ever want to use or need that power-up to take out enemies above you, as they're much more easily just jumped on. To put it all together, pretty much none of the adjustments they made from the original Super Mario Bros. Were good ones. Even in the ways they tried to replicate things from the first Super Mario Bros., they just missed the mark. This aspect of the game is very much a mixed bag. Let's start with the look of things. Super Mario Land does not look very good. I get that it was really early in the Game Boy's lifetime, but it still seems like a lazy effort, as if nobody along the way asked, is this the best we can make it look? Just look at the difference between this and Super Mario Land 2, where they apparently tried to make a good game, especially visually, and succeeded very much so in my book. In Super Mario Land 2, it looks like you're playing as Mario. The Goombas look like Goombas instead of just slightly detailed dots. Koopa Troopas look like Koopa Troopas too. It's a monumental improvement across the board. In Super Mario Land 1, it was like a massive step backwards from even the original Super Mario Bros. And when you've had 4 years between that game and this one, that's a little inexcusable. Especially when you consider that Super Mario Land was released, at least in Japan, after Super Mario Bros. 3. Essentially, the massive leap forward in video game development from the first Super Mario Bros. To the third one had already happened. No way this was the best they could have done with the Game Boy at this time. In this one, Mario, the blocks, coins, enemies, they're all so small in the screen, leaving a lot of dead space. Visually, it is a huge disappointment. Like I said earlier though, the audio and visual category is mixed, and the reason is that I think the music in this game is really good. The main music from World 1 is stellar, World 2 has a great change of pace, and the Asian feeling tune to World 4 is freaking great. Just go take a listen to the World 4 music from Super Mario Land and take note of how long of a song it is before it loops. It is quite a bit longer than what you'd normally find in games back then, and good the whole way. Again, a mixed bag on audio and visuals. The visuals suck, the audio is very, very good. If there's any nostalgia in this game for me, it's because so many people had it. So there's at least some familiarity for so many people because it was readily available to play in a lot of places. It's the second highest selling Game Boy game ever behind only Tetris, which kinda had an unfair advantage there being the pack-in game, but you get the idea. I'm sure for a lot of people they do fondly remember playing a Mario game on a Game Boy and being able to take it wherever they wanted. But I always remembered back then being underwhelmed by the game, and going back and playing it now, that feeling's even worse. It's a game you'll start playing, have a brief moment or two of, oh man, I remember this, and 2 minutes later, sort of be over it all. In other words, it wasn't that good back then, and it doesn't hold up at all years later. Maybe that's tough to expect for Game Boy games, but I think there are plenty out there that can still hold up just fine. Just not this one. Although the original Super Mario Bros. Was a masterpiece of its time, Super Mario Bros. 2 threw a lot of people a curveball that left a lot of people somewhat dissatisfied. With Super Mario Land being the third Mario game to see a release in the United States, I can't help but wonder if a lot of people started thinking Mario would be a passing fad way back in the day. Obviously, didn't pan out that way, made very clear that Mario was around to stay when Super Mario Bros. 3 showed up and did what Super Mario Bros. 3 does. But wrapping up Mario's Game Boy debut, there's not a ton of depth to Super Mario Land, so there's not a ton left to say about it that hasn't already been said. The visuals are a letdown, the gameplay has a very weird feel, the levels are mostly pretty boring, it's short, and it's not all that fun. The sound effects are satisfactory, and the music is really good. That seems to sum things up pretty well. It almost feels weird to be so critical of a Mario game. It's just so rare that Nintendo would actually miss the mark on a game like this, but in this case, I really think they did. With almost any other Mario game in the history of the series, I feel like I can go back and play it and have a really enjoyable time. But with this one, I find myself bored just minutes in. With that said, I give Super Mario Land a 3.5 out of 10. That is it for this review, everybody. If you have any comments on this game or comments on this review, hit up the comments section below. Let them be heard. If you like the review, hit it with a thumbs up. And if you want more videos, go ahead and click subscribe. As always, everybody, thank you so much for watching.